places sexual sin in a different category here. It's not because God hates it more. It's not because he's going to judge it more. It's not because you're going to hell if you commit it. Sex sin is in a different category because of the depth to which it injures those who engage in it. So Paul's saying, you engage in sexual sin and you are harming yourself to the depths of your being. And so it's like no other category of sin because of the kind of damage it does to the person committing it and, as we know, to the people around. And then he says things like, don't you know that now you got to think of the context, right? This is the church of Corinth, temple prostitutes everywhere. This is the part of the culture. He says, don't you know that he who unites himself with a prostitute, temple prostitute, becomes one with her in body? Now, pause for a moment. How do you think the people in Corinth would have received that statement? Right? Corinth was steeped in the practice of temple prostitution. They would have read these words of Paul and said, whoa, 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 hold on, Paul? What do you mean, unite yourself with a prostitute? Like, unite. I mean, we're just having sex. That's all it is. The word that Paul uses here is the word kolaomai. Kola means glue. Okay, so he's using a word that literally means to glue together, to stick firmly together, to cement together, as in super glue, bonding, as in permanent, intertwined, scrambled eggs. That's the word he's using. And so some of the readers in the church here, some of these new believers in Corinth are thinking, wait a sec, my friend was at the temple of Diana the other day. He went through the ritual and all of that. Well, and then a prostitute came out, as is in every time when we go to the temple. And we did a little dance, we made a little love, we got down tonight, right? We got a little side room and had some sex, and that wasn't it. No harm, no foul, no blood, no ambulance, and best of all, no commitment. And so that's how Paul's audience would have taken this. And Paul says, no, that's what you think, because that's all you've ever known. Let me show you. Let me help you understand the power of this gift. Sex and sexuality carry the power of soul fusion. It's this bonding power, this power of permanence. When you have sex with somebody, there is this permanence thing that happens. There's this intertwining, there's this intermingling of your souls. You, in a very mysterious and delicate way, become one with that person. It's deep. Personal, it's intimate. God made it that way. And when it's used in the right way, which is within the bonds of covenant, of marriage and the marriage covenant, which is the only way God designed for it to be used, then it has the power to make husband and wife one. Now you might say, some of you married couples might say, well, Pastor, sex in my marriage is good, but it ain't that good. Really? It happens. It makes you one. Now, whether you feel closer, more intimate as a married couple after sex, that's another topic for another day. The point is, when you take that bonding and that intermingling power and you use it indiscriminately, you use it outside the bonds of marriage, okay? Let me just say, clarify something here. Marriage meaning after you say I do at the marriage altar, okay? We're not talking about when you're engaged and you gave her the promise ring. There's a lot of couples today, they're like, hey, you know what? It's just like test driving a car, right? You gotta test it out. I wouldn't buy it if I haven't test driven it, right? And we treat our sexuality, I gotta test it out, so let's go live together, let's try it out. There's no research that has proven at all that your marriage is better because you've lived with somebody before marriage. There's no research to prove it. And so the point is, man, if you take that bonding, intermingling, soul-fusing power of sex and you use it with multiple partners or you use it indiscriminately outside of its design, what happens is the gift that was designed to fuse your soul actually becomes something that fragments your soul. You stick it on, Stick it on another one. Stick it on. And parts of you are left all over the place. And your soul gets fragmented. And you begin to destroy your chances of experiencing the growing beauty and the true intimacy that is only reserved for marriage. So today, I don't want you to think, especially in a room like this, I understand all of the statistics. Most of us, okay, I'm not going to assume that we're all got clean pasts here today. We come as a community that's broken. I get that. I just gave you for the past half hour or so a good dose of truth. And what I'm about to tell you right now is the good dose of grace. We need both. Yeah? So, sit up. If you have been broken in this way, if you have sinned sexually, I believe in the power of God's restoring grace. Don't you? That's what the gospel of Jesus, man. He encountered prostitutes too. He partied with sinners. He was there because he was there to bring the healing. We're here not to hide. We're here to heal. So don't think I'm condemning you today, because I'm not. But listen, there are some of you single folk in the room, okay? And you just need to hear this, because all the married folk in the room will tell you that some of their deepest regrets have to do with sexuality. Listen to the collective wisdom in the room. The married folk that have been through it, that have messed it all up, and that are dealing with the baggage. Some of us are dealing with the baggage, and it's going to take the rest of our lives to clean up this mess. That's just the reality of it. Now, can we do it? Absolutely. By the grace of God, He can accelerate the process. He can make it as if we were pure virgins again before Him. But the reality is some of the damage has been done, folks, and we clean up that mess by the grace and the mercy of God for the rest of our lives for some of us. Single folks who are still virgins, you do not have to walk this way. Start carving out a new pathway. Really? Don't walk this direction. Don't treat sex as if it was just a physical thing. It's not. It'll do damage to your soul if you treat it that way. And so Paul says to the Corinthians, with this I close, he says, hey, don't you know? Don't you know? Your bodies are the temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you've received from God. And at that very moment, I can see and hear some of Paul's audience saying, wait a minute, Paul, I'm new at this thing. I, in fact, didn't know that my body was the temple of the Holy Spirit. In fact, I thought that my body was just my body. It had no connection to my emotions or to my soul or anything like that. It's just my body does what it's going to do because I feel it and I just got to do it. Right? It doesn't affect anything else. Oh, and yeah, I didn't know that the Holy Spirit actually lives in my body. I thought God was up there in heaven someplace. And so I can worship God on Sundays and listen to the messages and all of it, and then I can go off and engage in all the sexual practices that my body wants to engage in, because that's the culture I live in. It doesn't matter. Paul says, no. If you're a Christian, if you're a Christ follower, your body is inhabited by the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit's presence lives in your body. And your body is the locus of the presence of God. And he goes on to say, you are not your own. So don't just go around offering it to whoever. You are not your own. You were bought with a price. Therefore, honor God with your body. How do we handle our sexuality as Christ followers? Honor God with it. And so today, as we close, I want to close by acknowledging that we holiness in this area. And there's some of you here who may feel like, you know what, maybe I didn't know this. I wish I knew this. And maybe there's some of you here who you didn't engage in sexual sin willfully. Maybe it was something that was done to you and it violated you at the core of your being. I don't know. But I'm going to assume that today we all need healing in this area. Even for those of you who are married, all right? Marriage sex can be a powerfully uniting thing. It is. Okay? But there are situations, if we don't handle this right, even in marriage, where sex can be used as something to manipulate and to, you know, we want to honor God with our sexuality. Yes? Okay. So close your eyes and bow your heads. And if you're here this morning and we're not here to embarrass anybody, like I said, we're not here to hide, we're here to heal. I want you to feel like this is a safe place. And this is really not for me. This is really between you and the Lord. Because we believe in the power of God's truth, which we presented in a very simple way today, and because we believe in the power of the grace of God, I want you to respond to Him today. And so it's not about, you just being embarrassed by raising your hand or whatever. But I'm going to ask you to respond to the Lord. If you are here today and you've struggled in this area, maybe you've blown it once, twice, countless times, however many, and you may be single, you may be married, okay? Doesn't matter. You may be divorced, you may be separated from your spouse, but you've blown it in this area. You've treated sex as if it was just a physical thing. And you've begun to damage your soul. And you want the healing, restoring touch of Christ this morning to begin rebuilding that place in your life. If that's you, I want you to lift your hand. Not to me,